Hello, my name is Jerrod Weston, and I am an actor living in Istanbul. And today I'm going to walk through the stories that happened on my very first day as an extra and on a movie set, and kind of point out some of the things that I learned, some of the things that I experienced, and hopefully this will help you become a little bit more prepared for this type of experience, if this is something that you're wanting to try out or get into. It'll hopefully give you some idea of what you're getting yourself into. Because it's going to be it's fun and it's magical, but it's still work. My particular experience was sort of an accident. It was about a year ago, and my friend Gavin and I were out having drinks, and he goes, "Hey, you know what? I am going to be an extra tomorrow morning in a movie called Turkish Ice Cream, Türk İşi Dondurma, if you want to say it in Turkish." And he goes, I think that they're looking for extras, and do you want to come and join me? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so I did. I went to go be in a movie for the very first time. And so the first thing I learned is that you got to get up super early, because you're going to go and meet like transportation. So what they do is everybody goes to like a meeting point where they put you on buses, and that way they can truck you out to wherever the movie set is. And you're going to be on there with actors and extras and crew and all kinds of folks. They're all just going to these meeting places to get bussed out to the set. And in this case, the movie set was about an hour outside of Istanbul. And what they had done, it was cool. Once we got there, we're like, we had no idea where we're going. And we got out there, and they had built an entire town to look like an Australian town from the World War II time frame. And I mean, it was quite vast, because they're going to film most of the movie there, but I mean, they had everything from like post offices and restaurants and butchers shops and barns and train stations, and like you name it, they had the whole town was built. It was pretty remarkable. And we got there, and we're like, wow, of course, all taking pictures and stuff. And oftentimes, by the way, you have to sign a contract to say you're not really supposed to be taking pictures, but kind of everybody does. And they'll usually have you sign something saying that you're not going to post them before the movie is premieres. Which, I mean, honestly, really, you shouldn't. I know it's exciting and it's fun, but you got to kind of keep some movie secrets, right? Anyway, so then we get there. Didn't quite know what was going on yet, so they took us over, and there was like a temporary tent area where they had like a cafeteria, and they were serving it, and they gave us breakfast. So first thing, we get there early in the morning. It was great. They fed us. I'm like, that's cool. Good thing to know. And then you get done, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. Our language, we were sort of new to Turkey, and so our language skills were not very good at the time. Probably still not ideal. But what we figured out is that the level of communication to the extras is pretty low. And it's not unique to Turkey, by the way. I've now learned in several other projects that communication in general tends to be lacking. So kind of definitely be ready for not really knowing everything that's going on. And actually, I mean, in reality, for the extras, it's not really necessary for you to know everything that's going on. Really, I mean, you're just going to get moved about. They'll tell you when they want you and stuff like that. So, so we got done with breakfast, and we had some time to kill, so we wandered around the set for a while. And what we learned pretty quickly is that there was also nowhere to sit. In this town, they had not built like a stadium for us to all go and sit down at. So there was a lot of just milling about, having a lot of talks and conversations, and until finally we got herded up, and they're like, okay, they started looking at you. Remember, the extras are sort of like, we're basically props. It's not the best way to think of it, but really each one of us has a different look, and then we're going to be given different costumes, and they just try and say, okay, well, you look like we need this, and you're going to kind of have this type of costume, and you look like this, you're going to have this kind of costume. And so they try and like kind of just think how we're going to fit as props into the movie, and then they take you over to wardrobe, and they let the wardrobe folks know, like, hey, put this person in like a military uniform, put this person in a suit. And in this movie, I got selected to be like a traveler. So they put me in like an old early 20th century suit, and I got put. And then my first scene that I got selected to go do was over by the train station. And I had like a suitcase also when I got over there. So I was some kind of a traveler. And they basically they're trying to construct the scene that they believe looks the best. So, they just kind of look and say, okay, well, this person's going to look best here, and this person's going to look best here, and then they try and decide, like, okay, well, what are you going to be doing? In my case, they had me like talking to a woman, and my friend Gavin was back in the far end of the train station, and he was like, carrying on a different conversation with a couple of folks. And basically then what they had us do is pretend to have a conversation. So me and this woman were just like acting through a fake conversation. We had to do it without any sound because the real action was the main actor going by and having an argument. And so like our sound couldn't interfere with their sound. And so, you just like pretend talking, and it's kind of fun, and these shoots, these scenes go on for a long period of time. Even if it's just a few seconds of video, it takes a long time to shoot that one scene because they'll want to see the actor do the main activity several different times. Then they're going to want to change the camera angles. They're going to want to change the lenses, and so you're kind of in one spot for a long time, an hour at least. And you just kind of keep going through the motions, but during each individual sort of break, you get a chance to actually still talk to that person and talk to the people around you. So it becomes really a lot of a social event. And then between these scene shootings, you just kind of again meander about. I remember even at this particular movie set, we found a camel. It was back in a barn, and we're like, hey, there's a camel here, which makes sense now that I've seen the movie too, by the way. And then you got to be prepared because this kind of goes on through the whole day. Now they're gonna feed you lunch, and so you got breakfast and you got lunch, but different countries probably have different labor laws for this kind of stuff. But in Turkey, it tends to be the entire time that there is daylight, and so they just kept us there the whole day, and kept blocking off different scenes around the town, and sometimes we were working, and oftentimes we were just hanging out. So a lot of people, what they did was they brought like temporary chairs, which was smart. Some people brought books, which was also very smart. I'd also recommend bringing some kind of a phone charger, because both electricity and like one of those backup batteries, because like out in the middle of nowhere where we were, there was nowhere to plug your phone in, and so pretty much right away your phone just dies because you're kind of goofballing around with that for a while. So bring some, kind of think ahead and bring some stuff to keep yourself occupied. Otherwise, you're going to have to be bored with just talking to people the whole time. Jeez, that's, if you're introverted, that's going to maybe be a little bit of a problem. But people are quite social. And then at the end of the night, after they've shot everything, then they put you on a bus, and they take you back to the meeting point. Some things to know, like I didn't know this. I assumed that we would just get paid like cash right there at the end. But no, what happened, so you got to kind of anticipate that, and by the way, the money is to be an extra is not very much. So you're certainly not going to get rich. You can't live off, well, maybe you could live off of being an extra if you did it often enough, but it's not a whole lot of money. But what happens is the accountants are going to pay the agents that sent you there, later on, usually like a month later, and then the agents take like another month to pay all the folks. So it's going to be 1 or 2 months before you ever get any of that small amount of money anyway. So that's another thing to kind of be sort of ready for is that payment process. But overall, it's a really fun experience. It's a unique experience to get a chance to go out and see some of these movie sets, see how they turn this like basic world into magic, and then being able to go to the theater and see, what from beginning to end, what it all looks like. So I do recommend being an extra at least a couple of times. Check it out, try it out, have fun, but also make sure that you're ready. So again, my name is Jerrod Weston, and I'm going to be posting more videos about what it's like to be on this acting journey, especially as an international actor. Please take a moment to click subscribe on the button down below. And I also look forward to hearing from a lot of other actors or people that are interested in acting, or anybody that just has questions. I'm going to do my best to be a very responsible host and moderator and try and get to everybody's comments. And I look forward to meeting everybody, at least digitally, sometime in the very near future. So have a good night.